everyone, today we're in Sussex and we're going to see essentially it's going to be a special place where they used to make gunpowder. So Gunpowder Mills of Chilworth. So come and join me. They are extremely old, 400 years old, started up in 1600s. These are the newer mills over there. We're not going to go there because it's on private land, but in any case let's go and see the older ones. So we're going to start our walk here, and this is a new cut, well, 1656. This is the Tillingbourne River, which was the main reason why these mills were built here. This is the newer area, and we're going to go all the way to the very oldest part of the mills, and we'll see the swing bridge on the way to there.
There's no reason for these walls to be as thick as that.
For the walls, yeah. Although I would imagine had it blown up, it would have taken down the big walls as well. Yeah, I didn't think, wow, look at the size of that building. I didn't think they'd be so huge.
But they tend to have, I think they have very lightweight roofs, so the idea is that if it blows up, all the energy goes upwards rather than
I read
outwards.
that as well, yeah. So essentially if it goes, then at least it's contained.
Yeah, they just put a corrugated roof on and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are bits of
Just let it blow.
There's bits of corrugated roof there.
Yeah, lying down. Oh yeah, but that's just, standard simple corrugated roof.
Special. But look at the reinforcing in the walls there, which is interesting.
Yeah, substantial. And that's weird, it's almost like an arch there.
That's the roof, isn't it?
Yeah. This is huge. Yeah, remains of that, of the roof. And that's a big structure. Yeah, so these are the newer, so this would have been 19th century. And again, these same supports there in the walls. Let's go down inside. So these are steam incorporating mills from about 1880s. There's an entire row of them, there's 6 bays in total, but underneath each of the bays essentially had a below floor gear room. So that was separated from the main area, from the main grinding area. This is where machinery was fixed onto these platforms, and then separated from the main area via wooden floor. So that way it would all be separated, and obviously avoid any unwanted explosions. You can just about see just above this this reinforcement for the wall. Not sure. This seems to be quite a big one. These reinforcements, you'll see the smaller stud-like ones, but you can see where the floor level was, sort of roughly where the footpath runs nowadays. And then at the back of the building, so everything seemed to interconnect, probably because of the this is where, or we think this is where possibly the steam would come in through the pipes to power all these engines. Obviously the actual steam engines would have been set well aside, obviously, otherwise you'd have a fairly guaranteed explosion happening. But yeah, there seems to be quite a few windows, so maybe this is where the pipes would come through. Potentially some ventilation as well.
We'll come back.
To be fair, these look really similar, like we find in the mines in processing and crushing floors. So that's exactly the same sort of design. You get exactly the same sort of remains.
Insight only you would have.
Nice echo in here. One of these supports. So in fact, there were at least 4 documented explosions around here throughout the years. Some really early and then some even into the 20th century, so they didn't really learn. And because they were wearing hobnail boots, any spark just from the boot touching the ground would cause an explosion, and it did. So eventually, later on, they then banned hobnail boots and had to wear different footwear, maybe just leather.
The mechanism there. The wire.
Oh yeah, that's a good spot. Yeah, so this was where they installed a safety system of sorts, like a fire sprinkler system. So there was this lever mechanism that connected all 6 bays. So if there was an explosion in one chamber, then these levers would trigger a sprinkler, a drenching system in all chambers. So it's like an early fire alarm and safety system.
They're all in line with these holes, aren't they? These big central pieces. So I wonder if
Yeah,
there's
'cause they
a machine
align.
on one and then a mill in the next, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they align perfectly. Triple thickness. Triple thickness, yeah. My God.
That must have been carrying something heavy, mustn't it?
Yeah.
There's this water trough here.
So it's like, again, this is a bit like they had in mining. They'd had leats
Yes.
or like launders to carry water through. Yeah, so a lot of that, it just works exactly the same way. So hopefully we'll get to see more of the older area, or do you reckon there's not much?
Yeah, no, it's a bit more.
Well, that's exciting. There's all these canals.
Brakes. Try to absorb
As
the,
brakes?
yeah, or absorb the shock in the event of an explosion. There's several of these.
And they're filled up with soil, literally.
To just fill in the
To,
soil, yeah.
to
Because they might have had a storage facility near here or something.
Well, these aren't that old, or they've rusted to nothing.
No, this probably would have been from the early 20th century, I
Do you
guess.
think they'd have lasted that long?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We see stuff like
Stuck
that
in the ground.
the mines. Or
The bit
later.
stuck in the ground has rotted away, isn't it?
So, in fact, these later became known as Chilworth mounds because they would build mounds and then strengthen them with this corrugated iron. So then other gunpowder mills borrowed the same technique. Wow, this is the spring. This is the swing bridge.
Video the sign.
Yeah, dangerous structure. So this is actually so a bigger swing bridge would swing both ways. So let's say it would pivot on a single axis, but I think this one it would just swing just one way.
Yeah, I think it just swings one way.
So it's a smaller version of it. So it, like if that's the swing bridge, it would just do that and open up. But yeah, the original timbers are still there. Lunch is that way.
Lunch is down that way.
So,
How far down that way?
Oh, very, very obviously.
it's only what time is it?
So we like to go there for a sort of mid,
Like an ice cream break and,
Yeah, okay,
and
the
toilet
town
break.
is the town is down that way. Yeah, if you want the toilet break, it'll be this way.
Well, I wasn't
Yeah.
saying.
That's a good view of the swing bridge.
To fix it.
Parts of it fell. Oh, this whole.
Look at the damselflies. Those damselflies.
Yeah.
I think are they beautiful demoiselles, and they indicate really good water quality.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it does look very good.
Yeah.
They're so blue. I think I saw them in Lithuania when I went there earlier in the year. So blue. I was just thinking, what are these blue dragonflies?
Look, it's landed on the thing. Right. I can't make it move. It's right there on the stalk. So these are one of the biggest damselflies we've got.
Yeah. It's the same ones I saw. Yeah. They're beautiful,
Oh, yeah, they are
floating,
nice,
really.
aren't they?
Yeah, quite elegant, but so blue. Do they sting? Do you reckon?
No, they don't sting.
No.
I'd be
friendly.
surprised if you got one to land this high up.
No, see these dragonflies?
They're damselflies.
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 Look at these.
These are beautiful demoiselles.
What do you mean by like? Is that what? Why is there a subspecies name or what's?
That's their common name. I can't
That's the
remember
common
actual-
name. Beautiful
Beautiful demoiselles.
demoiselles. Wow.
And they-
The mini harbour for these for the punts for the small boats to come in. Only that it has dried up, unfortunately. But we can still see the wall. So there's still the wall remains. And this is where these little wharfs, these little harbours where. It's a substantial metal structure, and actually there's a bit of old rail as well.
Come in, and then another one could pass it. and then that would be moored up against it.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it does curve. Yeah. But it hardly flows. I'm sure this canal would have been much larger back in the day.
Route from Guildford for the coal to come, I think.
For the coal, yeah. So that's what the steam engines would be powered by. Yeah, and there's still again, it's round. Yeah. Bringing all that coal in. This bridge does not remain anymore. There's just a pivot there where it would have pivoted round. Very boggy here. Whoa, there's the millstones. So originally, do you reckon these would have been quite old? Because all I know is that they actually stood them up in later years as a way to protect from potential explosions. Yeah. But my God, and the size of that.
See the damage.
Wow.
Can you see this?
Can you see this? Yeah.
Look at the weight of them.
God, I mean, just to move something like that would have been difficult.
It's funny, it's so overgrown.
Oh, so that one, look, that one still has the inner.
Yeah.
That answers my question, because I was thinking, why is it square? You know, is it? So no, it would have been a octagonal.
There's a separate piece in there.
Yeah. Love those. Because they were grinding lots of different things. It was saltpeter. They were grinding, yeah, and sulfur. Huge. So gunpowder was made of 75% saltpeter, which was at the time, because the mine was owned by East India Company, that's in 17th century, so 1626 to be precise, that saltpeter was imported from India. So 75% saltpeter, then 15% of charcoal, and 10% of sulfur. And that whole, all these three substances were mixed in the mixing house. Then in the press house, extra moisture was removed, and in the corning house, they would essentially granulate it into, instead of just having in a powder form, which was the case in the early days. So when they invented this corned powder, which was slower burning, so a bit safer and easier to transport, that's why they would have to corn it. And then after a drying process, they would eventually store it in barrels and load it and send them off on a boat in the canal for crossing now. The millstones, this was the incorporating area for the gunpowder, and there's a giant millstone of unbelievable size around here. I mean, this is just something else. You could fall into this one. That's the chimney with the spark scrapers to stop further explosions. So you can see there's some bricks around it. Obviously we can't see the full structure, but it's quite big in diameter. I mean, that's like well over a metre. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So that's how we know that this was actually the steam engine. Blackened bricks. Oh, and you can still see the pipes actually here. So do you think that's where they would have fed the engine with water to cool it? Yeah, that will make sense. And these, you can see there, the tread marks that would have fixed on this. I wonder if it's possible to go inside the steam engine. Oh my God, it's like a grave. I don't think I can fit in here. Maybe I can. Okay. So, I think that's where... Oh yeah, and you see the pipes coming through there. It's about the size of a grave. Oh no, the wheels have been lost. There's trees growing around them. Oh, such a shame. Oh my God, this is, you know what, this is tough. Yeah. I think I might get stung this time. Ah! Oh my God. Oh. Ouch. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, much better seen in the shade. Massive millstones. This is where the water was coming from. That's actually, that's a culvert. You can see here, there's a pipe. That's good flow for once. And a few more millstones. They're everywhere. This one's really got nice, really nice grooves to see how it's been made, sort of how it's been shaped. So these were the older workings.
Yeah, this has been the older workings, yeah.
So this is the mixing house, and this is where they were mixing the ingredients for gunpowder, which is essentially charcoal, saltpeter and sulphur. And you are pointing at the wall. So Dom's just spotted that there are different ages in brickwork. So you see just the more normal sort of modern brickwork we used to see, red bricks, and then if you look over there, that's a much more ancient-like brickwork. So maybe this was the earlier mixing house. So there were, by the way, there were various types of gunpowder. So the earliest type was the black powder. So the most you know, basic gunpowder. So maybe that's where they were doing this. Is there still the gate? No. Yeah. Oh yeah, but you can still see it, yeah. So I think those, oh no, that can't be, that must be newer wood, but yeah, there would have been a sluice gate sliding right in. You can see where that would have gone. The size of those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go down there. So this was the corning house, because after the black powder they invented brown powder. Essentially they decided that it was better to granulate rather than have it in powder form. So this was the corning house where they would make it into, wow, the size of that. Ow, nettles. Oh, and actually you can see how the bricks have been really, you can see there's something running off, some kind of minerals. So clearly there was activity here. So granulated powder was a bit slower burning, and it wasn't as easily set on fire during transport, so that made it a lot more usable. And here we have the gunpowder magazines where they were storing it.
So I suspect that this is what they used to look like with the corrugated roof.
Number 10. Yeah, that is, yeah, I'm sure some of it maybe was restored because it looks a bit too perfect.
No. Someone's using it as their shed.
Ah, that's locked. Are the remains of the dusting house, but not very much remains. So this is where they would sort the granulated powder away from the dust, because they wanted it to have a granulator, and then put the dust back into the system for back into the corning house. This is the gatehouse. This is where the workers would have checked in, and they would have been checked for things like flammable things. Have you got anything? Are you wearing hobnail boots? Are you carrying any matches? Yes. And that's where they would check in. That's a very narrow door. The Packhorse Bridge that connected this place to Guildford. So I'm back home. It was a great day spending the heat wave in the shade, and we could not find an ice cream. So thanks for joining, and I think it's time to go and find an ice cream.